coffee cup holder as a sock? I think it's weird to wear a coffee cup holder as a sock.
Yeah, it looks weird. That's not where a coffee cup holder belongs.
Also, I think that might have to be our screenshot.
Also, welcome to the Northern Knits Podcast. We're two friends in fibre who knit, craft, crochet, and tuck everything in between. My name is Justin, and my co-host is
Diana.
So I'm told it's episode 268. And while I drink some coffee or water, Diana can let everybody know what we're going to cover this week. I can't decide what I want.
This week we've got What's in Our Cup, Woolly Workings, Wool Gathering, and Kniterature, which sounds short.
It always sounds short.
It always sounds short. Somehow Woolly Workings always ends up being like a whole hour on its own in the finished product, not including the chat that gets cut out.
I cut out chat.
I know this because I watch it back to do chapter markers.
You know, you're like, oh, how much did she cut out? Because it's more succinct in the end than it is in the start.
I know. It's still like an hour.
It's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot. There's some cuts. Sometimes it's just me blowing my nose a copiously large number of times, and I cut some of those out. Sometimes I don't cut any of them out.
Depends how we're feeling that week.
Depends on how much grief tech is giving me. All right.
Also that.
I suppose we'll start with what's in our cup. In my Northern Knits mug, look, Northern Knits mug, I'm rocking some decaf second cup coffee for the afternoon because it felt like a coffee kind of day.
Nice. I had coffee earlier for my drive to Toronto, so today I've got tea.
Well,
It's
yes,
caffeinated tea, but
I didn't have
this
to
is
drive to Toronto today, so
this is my department's logo at work, and I really like it. I've also got it on a black hoodie, and I feel very hacker. It's we're the security department. We're the trust and security department. So you know, it's a very hackery kind of logo because we're dweebs like that.
yes, you are.
Yeah, we are. I know we are. We're proud of it. It's fine. They're my people. Anyway, I have like bog standard Yorkshire Gold tea.
I don't know why that would be a problem. It's a perfectly good cup of tea.
I had to make a whole pot of tea today because we have a guest and everybody wanted tea.
I make a whole pot of tea for myself, so
I usually just make like the one cup for myself, but no, everybody wanted tea today. And like, okay, I guess I'll just make like a whole big pot of tea, which never happens. So it takes a while to boil that much water because normally I just boil enough for a cup of tea, but you know, boiling 2 liters of water takes a lot longer than boiling.
As far as cool threads go, I am getting ready to go to Saskatoon. Getting ready to go to the Edmonton Fibre Frolic via my mom's house. Saskatoon. That makes sense.
Obviously.
So, I'm leaving town this coming Thursday at very early in the morning, mostly because me and Aaron are both morning people. So why wouldn't we get on the road early?
Makes sense.
Makes sense to us. So we're literally leaving at 7 a.m. Why? Because that's when Hudson Bagels opens up. So we're going to go to Hudson Bagels, get breakfast, and hit the road.
Sounds like a good day, honestly.
Sounds good to me. So this will be the last recorded podcast for 2 weeks. I'm gonna sneeze.
Bless you.
Baby. Holy moly.
Still alive?
Maybe. Whoa. That was a thing. Probably should have cracked a window. Probably should crack a window. Anyway. So, keeping in mind that this is the last recorded video, I'm planning out stuff because I have some very tight deadlines towards the end of the month. So I'm not going anywhere unless absolutely necessary right now. So everything I wear is literally in the apartment. I have gone outside to do garbage, get groceries, come home. That's it. which isn't terribly unusual, but I'm not even doing my normal like walks right now outside because I've got such tight deadlines going on. Kat loves it. She's gonna be really mad when I leave her at her brother-in-law, at my brother-in-law and sister's house.
She'll be so excited, like the teenager's been bothering me. Why'd you leave?
They got a new puppy.
Oh
so
no.
mad at me when I get home. So bad.
You left me with dogs.
Yeah, dogs. Multiple dogs. I'm gonna be in such trouble when I get home. So that's going on, but I'm legit about doing. I have not left this apartment since Path to Glory last week, and I'm getting groceries tomorrow. That'll just be for the couple of days before I leave, right? Otherwise, I've been trying to eat my fridge out so that I don't leave anything in the fridge while I'm gone for the week.
Yeah.
So I'm literally just picking up odds and ends to make it to Thursday morning. So otherwise, I have been within these rooms every day, all day. It had to be done. I have so much to do. But it means there's no real cool threads because it's just the stuff I wear around here, which is all my usual stuff, right?
Yeah. And over here it's been like summer
Yeah.
briefly.
You guys
Today is fall again or
30
spring.
degrees
I don't know.
or
It's
something
like
going on.
yeah, we went from
days?
30 degrees and now we're down to like 15 today. So
That's spring weather. It's nice spring weather.
Yeah.
We're up to 14 today. We were at 3 degrees yesterday. It's May long weekend.
We're down to 15.
You know what happens on May long weekend in Manitoba?
Rain, snow, general weather.
Yeah. It does a mucky spring weekend. It always does a mucky spring weekend. So in shocking news, guys, May long this year was like most May longs. It rained, sleety, snowy weather, kind of cool, overcast.
We lost power yesterday. We had some capital W weather.
You had some capital W weather going on yesterday.
Apparently somebody died, like a tree fell on them and they died. Like we had some weather.
That's the thing that can happen, but it's not very common anymore.
No. So that happened. We just lost power for a couple hours. So thank goodness for gas stoves, because it was right around dinner time too. We're like, man, I'm hungry.
That could have been a problem.
Obviously the clicky lighter thing didn't work. We had to light it ourselves with some matches, but whatever.
You got it going. That's what matters. Yeah, I have an electric stove, so.
Yep. Yeah, I was very thankful for the gas stove.
But that's okay. I also have an electric kettle, and I'll be more upset about not being able to have tea than not being able to cook with my stove quicker. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Oh well. Well, with no cool threads, no yarn on the go for me, or for you, I'm assuming.
No, not for me either. Go where? With who? I don't know.
Means you go places, you just don't do knitting things while you do stuff. You're not knitting while you drive to Toronto to pick up your mother-in-law.
Yeah, but that's fair. I'm not knitting while I drive.
You're not knitting.
That seems dangerous.
Yeah, it is. You're not knitting while you drive to the grocery store to get groceries. You know,
No.
you're not driving when you go to visit Miss B's house. Like
no. If I'm actively doing it, there's not been a lot of like going to a place and chilling there for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, no yarn on the go.
That's totally fair. Which case, though, hey, next month is Knit in Public Day. You might want to try to find a place that's going to knit in public.
I am definitely going to try and do that because I know we have at least one knitting group around here. See what they're doing that day.
Be really good. So far, all right. Let's talk.
Sorry, I'm awake.
No,
let's start knitting. So do yarn things.
Lie. Let's talk about stuff we're working on.
Yeah, I have 3 things, and I think you have 4 things.
So
why don't you start, and I'll drink some caffeine.
We'll start with drama, and we'll end on inspiration.
Okay, I'm here. I got my tea. Like, spill the tea. Let's go. Let's have the drama.
Spill the tea. All right, because tea also, it doesn't just mean the drink. It means that, guys, I'm almost 40. It means
I know.
I'm too old for this.
My drink that was presented with smoke a couple weeks back, I was with a Gen Zer.
Oh.
And yeah, so like we've got all the spill the tea and everything, all the lingo. So sit
Sometimes
here being purposely old.
words come out of my niece's face and I'm like, you realize there's like a generation between the two of us, and what you said is not English to me. And she's like, you're old, I'll explain it. I'm like, I appreciate that as the old person in this conversation. Appreciate somebody mouthing me off. As tall as me, a little snot, but I'm still older and meaner. I will always be older and I will always be meaner.
This is true.
All right, don't mind the fact I've got 2 strands because I'm technically. So I was working on my mallow cardigan, which is what I'm holding up right now. And I did a quick stitch count, right? As you do, check to make sure things. And I've either counted very, very wrong, or I'm many stitches short and didn't count my cast on correctly.
Oh, but that's so much knitting.
It's almost 10 inches of stockinette knitting.
Oh.
On linen.
Oh.
I haven't been able to bring myself to recount the stitches to see if it was truly a cast on error or if I just counted the row poorly, nor can I bring myself to knit or purl any more of it until I've confirmed. So my
Fair.
mallow cardigan,
which
is
on hold.
is on hold, which is a Barocco knits free pattern that you can find. There's the mallow, which is the cardigan, and there's the marsh, which is the pullover tee. And I'm making it out of some Barocco Indio yarn, which is a linen-based blend. And I have to count my stitches because I either have 107 or 121. And I need 121.
There's a bit of a difference between 7 and 21, yeah.
Big one. It's a big one. So if I have to rip this out, I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to be so mad. But right now I can't bring myself to deal with that level of heartbreak. So I'm going to try to count before I go, so at least I know where I am. Because
or you could just ignore it until you get back, and maybe a nice timeout will make it behave and have the right number of stitches.
If I have to cast this on again, I'm going to be livid. I'm going to be livid. So for the moment, it's sitting in timeout because I can't. I just can't. I recognized that it could have been a problem Thursday night while watching Critical Role and knitting, and I got so mad I put it down and I picked up a different project.
That's fair.
I was not having it. I was not having it. I'm not happy. I'm quite grumpy. There may have been some chocolate and swearing involved when I made that discovery.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping I was just tired and miscounted, but I cannot bring myself to face that truth yet. So we're leaving it be. We're leaving it be.
Sure. That's fair.
Yep. So
next time you count, just do it in chunks of 20 or something and add clippy stitch markers so you don't have to. You definitely know for sure you counted right.
Yep. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So just need to bring myself to do the counting.
Fair. I understand. I vote leave it in timeout for a while so that it learns to behave and have the correct number of stitches.
Yes, because that's exactly how the universe functions.
Absolutely.
Entirely by thought and will.
Absolutely. Just let it marinate in the timeout pile for a while. Let it think about what it's done.
Learn its lesson.
And then when it's straightened out, then
that's clearly
it
what
can
I'm
come
doing.
out of the pile.
Clearly what I'm doing. And then of course it will learn its lesson.
Yeah,
guys, I could be
wait for it to smarten up. And
I could be so hooped.
Right. So the fiber is probably from this finished sweater. But yeah, it turns out this yarn actually sheds a little bit, and it's probably this because I was wearing it today, which I mean properly should have gone in cool threads, but I didn't want to spoil the surprise. I have a finished object.
I wonder if all the shedding it does will go away once you wash it.
Yeah, I literally finished it last night, so it has not been washed yet. Laundry's happening tonight, so it will get washed. It just literally finished it less than 24 hours ago. Anyway, so this
it looks so good.
Crochet Funfetti Bomber by Crochet with Carrie. It's a free pattern on her blog, website, whatever.
Blog.
Anyway,
We still
I
call
made the
websites
smallest
blogs.
size. Yeah, so it's cropped and it's got like a drop shoulder. Yeah, and I did it out of Karen Chunky Cakes, 2 and a bit. You can see the a bit of this one in the background. In the colorway Dulce de Leche. Christ, I don't remember now. I was coached on how to say it. Dulce de la something.
Sometimes I feel like you stand in the store and you go, what name can I not pronounce? That's the colorway I'm going to work in.
I swear I don't do it on purpose. Anyway, browns and creams and grays. Anyway, it came out super cute. I did not do any attempt to match the striping at all whatsoever. I just let the yarn do whatever it was going to do.
Looks good.
And I think it turned out pretty cute.
I believe the running gag in Patreon is it's Star Wars themed.
It does have a little bit of a, between the colors and like it looked a little more Star Warsy when I had only done like the shoulder seams and it was more like a shawl. It looked a little more Star Wars then.
Yep.
Anyway, so I made the smallest size and I used a size smaller hook as well because that's what I had on hand. And I like the fabric that it made. Like if I'd used the proper size hook, it would have been a very loose fabric. And I like the fabric. But if I were going to make this again, I would make a bigger size. I would go one size bigger. I'd also purposely removed a couple stitches on the back panel and from the width of the sleeves. And I would not do that. I would make one size bigger and not do that. But yeah, otherwise I think the smaller hook was good. The sleeve length is great.
Question.
I
have a question.
Well, yes, you and the headphones.
So you would make the pattern as dictated by what the size said you should have picked and used the
yes.
Okay. Just checking. As a person who designs a pattern, you would just do as you were told.
If I'd done this, I mean, I still like it. I'm still wearing it. I still love it. It's so cozy. Gosh, it's so cozy. This yarn.
Good. And it turned out really great. But yes, the
but if I was going to make it again,
yeah,
I have learned yet again, do as you're told. The designer knows what they're talking about.
It's almost like they put a lot of work into designing the pattern.
I know. I just like, because it's designs with 10 inches of positive ease.
There's
and I'm like,
a lot of ease.
So which is why I automatically picked the smaller size. And I'm like, you know what? Because the finished garment dimensions are like, we're still like kind of big. And I'm like, I'm going to make that just like even a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
And then my hook was also even smaller. So like it all wound up being like, it's maybe a little bit smaller. Like it's a little bit smaller than I would have liked.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a little bit bigger. And I also haven't washed it yet, so it might like loosen up a bit. But
it will.
Like,
but I mean, it also gives you an excuse to make it again.
Yeah, I am absolutely going to make a second one out of the same yarn in another color, and I'm going to make a longer version.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. When I make it again, I'm going to make it one size bigger, and I'm going to make it longer because like the cropped is super cute.
Yeah.
But you don't always feel like a cropped sweater, you know? Some days you want a long sweater.
Love the look of that stitch texture. So like,
it's great.
I wasn't feeling it as
it's just.
I wasn't feeling it
half
as a
double
cropped.
crochets and slip stitches. Like it's so simple. It's like mindless. And it feels so good.
I wasn't feeling it as a cropped sweater, but I'm really thinking like the same frame but longer would be amazing.
Yeah, and it's like it's so easy to just make it longer. You just make it longer. It's just rectangles.
I would also do the same thing. Like I would make a smaller size for the finished ratio so that I don't have 10 inches of positive ease. I only have like 3 or 4 inches of positive ease for my rib cage or for my rib cage measurement, because I don't like stuff that baggy on me. But that would be about the only thing I changed. Mind you, I also have like 15 million hooks, so for me to find a hook size isn't terribly difficult. I have to remember to pack a hook for Erin. The to-do list.
Editing
just
Jocelyn, this is your reminder. Pack a hook.
The thing is, I won't make a note. I will actually stop editing and go get a hook and put it in my bag so it goes with me tomorrow when I edit. How things happen, folks. But no, I love how that turned out. But I agree. Like, I'm kind of tempted, though. I would want mine probably solid colored, or two different solid colors I could choose the stripes
Yeah,
and stripe it
that would
that
also
way.
be super cute. The pattern called for just one color. It would obviously be super cute. It's super cute in stripes. If you could match the stripes, it would also be super cute. They almost match. Honestly, my sleeves just by sheer coincidence almost match.
Is that a chunky? Like, is that worsted?
It is a chunky. I will get the ball band. It's just here.
Because like
It's
you
the
know,
Karen. Woo! As I don't miss my chair. It's the Karen Chunky Cake.
yeah. Is that a size 4 or size 5?
Size 6, it says. It says it is a size 6 super bulky. I am doubtful of that. I would call it a 5.
Because you know what I'm thinking?
Mhm.
Some brings
Well,
a
I don't.
little woolliness for a winter version.
Mm. I wore this like outside today. Like, can confirm it's quite warm and like sufficiently dense that it keeps out a light breeze. It doesn't
Wouldn't
keep
that
out a heavy breeze, but it keeps out a light breeze, and it's
wouldn't that just be
cozy.
amazing in fall? It's like beautiful
Yes.
striped like fall like pumpkin-y orange brown. Guys, I really should just become a 70s Chesterfield.
Definitely have this in my nose now. Oh my god, because you can even see it's like
Oh,
shedding.
it's shedding. Yeah, you need to watch
Yeah,
that bad boy.
yeah.
Oh, wouldn't that look so
Oh my
good
god, it's in my
though?
nose.
Oh,
Anyway,
I can't.
so
I need
love
to
this
make one.
yarn.
I need to make one.
Recommend.
Need to make one. But
And
add
it's
it.
just 100% acrylic, so you can like wash and dry this, no problem.
I love acrylic for
Right?
that.
Yeah, 100% acrylic, machine
You're just
washable
like,
and dryable.
oh,
Says so right on the ball band.
I
So yeah,
spilled
more of this is
it
happening.
in the wash. I
More
love
of this
being
is
able to put,
happening.
I love being able to put my stuff in the wash. It's so dang nice. I can make it out of impeccable.
Yeah, you totally could.
And I have those
Just
balls of gold impeccable and black impeccable. I could make it
like
gold or
it's literally
black.
like it's rectangles and one stitch pattern and then like crochet ribbing.
Because if I make it with the impeccable, the gold and black, I could do 2-inch stripes. And it could just be 2-inch striped and then matching stripes down the sleeve.
I suppose the other thing I did that made the sleeve slightly smaller is I mattress stitched it because I like the clean finish of mattress stitch on the inside.
Which is fair, so do I, but it just means that the stitches are a little bit tight, so you need to make sure you have a bit more space in your arms if you're going to mattress stitch.
Which I did not think about when I was doing it, but too late, I've done it.
Which is totally fair.
That's not a good show. Let me take this off.
I prefer the clean look of a mattress stitch too when I can.
Where did I there? I did a really good job of it right here. Don't mind the end. It's woven in. I just haven't trimmed it, but yeah, like
That's fine.
you can see.
Yeah, no, I like the clean look a lot better.
Yeah,
a lot better.
But
mind you, I'm so lazy.
A few stitches in the seam.
When I baste stuff together before I sew it, like when I do basting stitches to keep layers together before I put it through the sewing machine, so there's no movement, I absolutely make sure it goes into the seam allowance so that I never have to take those basting stitches out. I never want to do that ever. All of my garments, if you open them up, basting stitches still there. They're just in the seam allowance.
As per tradition, here we go. It's a finished object. It's
on
my
your head. Well,
it's on my head.
Also, it means you have 2/3 of that chunky Karen cake left. I could get a Jumanumino hut to go with my Jumanumino for Christmas.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd like some Jumanuminos and a Jumanumino hut.
Yes, you'll get some of the purple stripy yarn will be the Junomino.
Everybody loves it. I've completely messed you up for that.
Junimos.
It's Juminos.
And a Junimo hut. Yes, you can have some Junimos in a hut out of my leftover Karen cakes.
Yes.
All right, this is toasty.
It's
and
very
it's loud
warm.
outside, so I can't have the window open.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I will just hang this nicely in the background.
So good. I'm going to pour more coffee. That's right. I just brought the whole French press, guys. I'm not messing around with this. The whole French
just
press
looks so gosh darn cute. I do hope it like loosens up just a little.
Because I'm drinking that fake sugar stuff. What's my flavor? Maple bourbon pecan.
Ooh, fancy.
Skinny syrups.
Corn
free.
And those are good. Like
and corn free. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them.
Usually the fake sugar ones end up like tasting funny, but those ones don't.
They don't, which is really nice. And My brother-in-law's head boss at co-op is on a keto diet, and I am told they are keto friendly. I
Ooh.
like them because I want to try to cut some of the sugar out of my diet, and I am unwilling to give up pastries, so the sugar cut had to come from somewhere just as a personal choice. I just want to be consuming less sugar, so I'm tricking my body with not sugar.
Fair, fair.
Diabetes runs in my family, so I do want to watch that. I don't
Yeah.
have to. I'm not under doctor's orders to do anything like that. But it's just I feel
Proactive.
better doing
Yeah,
something
yeah, yeah,
towards it
yeah. Of course.
because I'm not willing to give up 3 cakes in March between birthdays and podcast anniversaries and celebrations. I'm not willing to give up cake month. So if this is what I need to do to
It
balance
is
cake
cake
month,
month.
I will do
Like
it.
everybody's birthday and the podcast.
I'm really trying to have enough money saved up to come visit you next March for my 40th.
I was talking to Mr. Diane about that on our drive out today.
I'm really trying to save enough money to come and do that. All right. Because I think let's get on to something less stressful than my Mallow cardigan.
Now
Let's
on to
talk
happier
socks.
things.
Let's talk socks.
Socks.
I didn't make a ton of progress on my stripy sock this week, but I did make a little bit of progress on the foot of my second stripy sock. The foot is the biggest part of the sock because I'm 10 inches from where the orange stops.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, I've done like 4.
Getting
3,
there.
4.
Getting there.
Yeah. So the rough trick is to go from your fingertips to the base of your palm, not including your toe. That is roughly the length of your foot.
Pardon me while I try this. And that's the length of the foot minus the heel.
Well, your fingertips to your back of your palm should be your foot minus your toes. Roughly.
Pretty rough.
Yeah.
I also have very short fingers, so
It's not a precise measurement. It is a rough estimation of your body sizing. It's also a rough estimation to go from your ear to the top of your head with your hand. It's not perfect, but it is a rough estimation of how much you need.
what have I done to this stitch? I broke something.
All it does for me is lets me obsessively check how much progress I've made by being able to hold it up. And I know that I have to get to my palm, bottom of my palm, before I get excited about knitting my heel without having to constantly put the sock on my foot, which helps. Speeds up the checking process. And I don't know about you guys, but I obsessively check my sock growth.
I try not to because otherwise I check it way too often. And I just get disappointed every time. Like, oh, it's stuck growing. It's taking forever.
Yeah, where it feels like I get more progress, like when I visually hold it up here, especially with the stripes, I feel like I'm making more progress than I'm probably actually making. But when I'm putting on my foot and it's growing so incrementally slowly,
Mm-hmm.
it's like soul draining. It's so depressing. But if I hold it up against my palm and I'm like, I'm not there yet, I'm not that excited about it because I know this is a rough estimate. So I know once I've got a whole hand worth of sock, put it on your foot, you're almost there. Then I get excited
Makes
about
sense.
things. So I'm slowly making progress. For the life of me, I cannot find my third 2.25 millimeter needle. I have 3. There's one on my neck. I have 2 Chowgu red lace 2.25 millimeter needles. Here is one.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know where I put the other one? If anybody could let me know where I've put that, that'd be great. Took me a month and a half
Somewhere
to find my
safe.
scale. I found my scale today.
Good.
These beautiful lovelies are the Addy Sharps that Asa sent me to try out to see if I liked or not. So given the next 2 projects I'm going to talk about, there's going to be some fiddliness has got to occur. So because I can't find the spare sock needle I should have. I should have 2 naked sock needles and 1 sock needle on the go. Because if you remember, when you were down, I bought a second sock needle because I had 1 sock needle consumed with fingerless mittens and 1 with a sock, and I wanted to start another sock.
Right. I remember this.
I should have 3 sock needles.
Does Phaedra know where they are? As
Probably.
frequently she seems to.
Yes. Is she going to tell me? I don't know. So slowly but surely, I make my way up the foot of the sock. I'm going to take that with me in the car on the trips because that's literally counting to 4 in the round. I can do that in the car.
Nice.
And with a mock garter heel, I can also do that in the car too. Because it requires next to no looking down, and it's the looking down and looking up that makes me car sick. So
That makes sense.
I
Nice.
slowly work on this while we record because boy, I've got 10 inches of foot. My foot never gets shorter, no matter how much I wish it would between socks. But I just like hand knitted socks too much to not make knitted socks.
I know, right? Like if we had short feet, if we had little baby feet, they could make so many socks.
I would also be smaller by the nature of proportions. Also mean my sweaters
otherwise
could
that'd
be
be pretty
shorter.
weird looking. Yeah.
My sweaters could be shorter. My sleeves wouldn't be as long. My
We just
legs wouldn't be
we
as
need to be
long.
smaller so that knitting is faster relative.
Yes, that's it. That's the thing. That's
Just gotta have like a shrink ray.
something, anything, I beg of you. Okay, I'm doing round 2 on this sock. Well, you talk about your next project.
All right. I started a mystery knit along because somebody posted it in the Patreon Discord and went, "Hey, this is starting today." And I went, "Oh."
Oh,
So Lattes and Llamas does their yearly geek along. They're doing a series of socks this year. This is the second sock pattern, and it's Legend of Zelda socks.
yes. Now I was okay skipping the Oregon Trail socks. Don't get me wrong, I played Oregon Trail, loved it. I would love to be able to play Oregon Trail on my computer. I would love to play Oregon Trail on my computer. That would just be so much nostalgia for me. It wouldn't even be funny. It'd be so good. I'm sure
Everybody dies of dysentery. That's all I know about that game. Everybody dies of dysentery.
You do that a lot. I played it obsessively when I was a little kid. It was great. I loved it so much. So, but I wasn't super interested in doing the socks for it. So I was super okay not doing the first pair of socks, but I'm with you on the Legend of Zelda socks. Those need to happen.
Yeah. So last week was do the gauge swatch. And they have you do a gauge swatch that is suitable as a coffee cup cozy.
Yeah.
So I technically, by doing a swatch, have a finished object in the form of a coffee cup cozy.
Ta-da!
So here it is.
Sorry if you guys are picking up the noise. What is it?
That's a hair.
Background noise brought to you by small children who live above me. Small children and puppies making noise since the dawn of time.
Oh yeah.
There's a dog below and there's kids above. I don't care about the noises. It's just a part of life, so it doesn't bother me. But if you guys are picking it up, I'm sorry. There's little feet running around above my head.
I don't think they're too loud. I don't think I hear them.
I hope not, but if they do, we've now done our PSA announcement. I love that cozy so much.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the swatch. It's meant to be done in 4 colors.
Yes.
It was the kit that you can currently get. It was 4 50-gram skeins of blue, yellow, red, and gray.
Yeah.
I'm doing it in 2 colors.
Well, it says you can if you want to, but they recommend the 4, which is fair.
Yeah, I'm doing it in 2 colors.
It's fair.
And I did some experimenting to see if striping the background would work and to see which color I liked in the background more. So I think I like the purple as the background.
Which makes sense. I like the purple as the background too.
Yeah, it seems crisper.
Yeah.
But now that I'm looking at clue 1 and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm gonna need a lot of purple. So I might have to see if I can get more of this yarn.
Oh,
fortunately I know the dyer. So I'm gonna do sock 1. And then I might be messaging Fireweed Fiber Co. in a panic going, hey, are you dying more of this sometime? So I probably won't finish this on time just because I ran out of yarn, but I can get more.
That's the May Sock Club colorway, right?
It is the May Sock Club colorway, yeah.
I know she's dying more because I requested more so I could make a tank top out of my May yarn, So
I know she'll dye more at some point. There's no way she's not going to dye more of this yarn at some point. It just might take till whenever
hot
she gets
second?
around to dyeing more of it. So like the
Fine.
second sock probably won't get finished on time, but the first one will.
No, that's fine. That's still a lot of work.
Anyway, so I'm really excited about this. I was absolutely obsessively knitting it.
Dude, why don't you
Fit
put
around my
that?
hair?
You should put that on your milkshake cup.
It was on my milkshake cup. I took it off so I didn't accidentally spoil it earlier. And it's going to go back there, but it's a finished object, so it has to go on my head. And it fits nicely on my hair, so now I have a weird little hat. Anyway, and then I was trying it on my foot earlier, hence the thumbnail.
Of course you were.
So I know that I can make the smallest sock size. So that's also nice. So maybe I won't run out of yarn. I probably will run out of the purple yarn. Probably.
You'll find out.
I will find out. I will find out. So that's where that's at. I'm super pumped to start Clue 1 basically as soon as we're done here. It's got hearts and keys and I'm really excited about it.
Like the really good faithful follower that I am. Look, I found yarn to make a swatch with.
I'm also very excited to see those colors because that's gonna look so good.
So I have not done my swatch. I will probably try to get the swatch done tomorrow while I'm editing, which sounds weird, but it's fine, guys. I can do that while I'm editing. It's not actually that hard for me. Mostly because a lot of my editing is hearing anyway. I'm not actually watching us, I'm listening to us.
Mm-hmm. That's the important part.
More auditorially orientated than visually orientated. So I was going to wind these up last night and Super didn't. Super did secret crafting instead. So I have a skein of Black Emerald, which is this beautiful, beautiful semi-solid.
I'm going to get a bunch of that color one day.
It doesn't have a lot of variation in it, but it is
no, it's pretty close to solid.
Gorgeous, gorgeous blacky green color. I need more. I need like 50 billion more skeins of it. And one of the Sock Club colorways, Snow Bunting, which I don't need the mini for, so the mini can go in the mini collection. Take that out. From last year's Sock Club colorway, which has beautiful variegation on it. This is how I lose ball bands, and then I don't know the colors of anything anymore.
Same.
But
the stupid hat can come off.
I think I'm going to do the same thing you do and have this as my background, like the Black Emerald is my background and the Snow Bunting is my color work, because even the darkest part of the Snow Bunting is still so light compared to the Black Emerald.
There's like a few dark flecks, but that would be like, that should be just fine.
That should be just fine. Worst case scenario, a tiny little spot on a tiny little square is slightly muddied.
Which is, that's fine.
Most of it's going to be crisp as AF.
Crisp AF.
Crisp AF. So that's what I'm going to do. Because like even this darker coloring pink in the Snow Bunting is still so light compared to the Black Emerald, even that little bit of muddying. That's gonna look. I'm excited to see that. I'm so excited for that. Swatch. I wasn't sure last night which would be my main color, like which would be the background color, but I think I'm gonna treat the Black Emerald like you're treating the purple, and then make the Snow Bunting the color
dark background, light color work.
Seems like
it feels like the way to go.
So. Hence the problem about the sock needles is going to come up here in a hot second. So you've got one more thing to go?
I have one more thing.
And then I've got one last thing to talk about.
Okay. My last thing is less exciting. It's the sock that I'm working on while we record. It's still the Reps and Rest sock. It's still the second sock. I am, I don't know, a dozen rows further on than I was last week, because mostly I was knitting the colorwork swatch this week. Like even in meetings when I really should not have been, I was absolutely obsessed and it was a problem.
Colorwork is quite addictive.
So these socks are going to get done on time. Those colorwork socks, they're going to get done so fast because I'm just obsessed.
But
these socks are Reps and Rest by Nikki Knits. They are a nice simple pattern repeat, so they're pretty close to vanilla socks, which is nice. And The yarn is Manos de Uruguay Alegria in Pastel Tiza.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, that was my last thing. It was I saved the least exciting thing for last.
Oh, geez. Here's the decision.
Decision.
It is distressingly easy to talk me and Louise into impromptu mid-logs, starting projects, throwing caution to the wind and casting on something new. It literally takes the smallest of mentions, anywhere near the two of us, and both of us happily jump on that train. Gleefully, even. I'm gonna go gleefully jump on that train.
Yeah, that sounds right.
We are probably infamous for it. What we're not infamous for is finishing things. Either one of us. Are you sure you want to go to knitting stuff with me, Louise? You're gonna get in so much trouble.
I know. I will start all the things, finish none of them, and have a great time doing it.
Wonderful time. So we were doing our mid-month motivation last Thursday, sitting and chatting and talking, and Nikki Knits year-long even heel sock cal came up. So we both joined. And I resisted. I resisted when you did the cal. I said, no, I don't have the time. I have other stuff to do. I'd like to knit the socks, but not right now. I was very proud of my restraint. Very proud of my restraint. Because we all know how easy it is to talk me into a knit along. It's distressingly easy. And I went, no, I have a pair of sock needles. I have 2 pairs of naked sock needles. I can just start 2 new pairs of socks. Nobody in their right mind thinks I'm finishing a sock cal on time. Nobody in their right mind is thinking I'm finishing a sock cal on time.
Even one that goes a whole year?
The year one I might be able to do. But we all know how long it takes me to knit a pair of socks. So okay, we'll do an even heel. Why not? I'll cast on. It'll be fun. It'll be top down, which I never do. So it'll be very different for me. So that's something new and exciting. And we'll do the even heel and we'll see how that heel wears. Now I have fairly flat feet. Like I'm fairly flat-footed. So I have a very, very low arch. So like shoes, heels are pretty interchangeable for me. I don't mind. 6-inch stilettos hurt my broken toes, but they don't bug my heels. Right down to ballet flats until I broke my toes like the 3rd or 4th time. I wore it all. I wore wedges, I wore stilettos, I wore, you name it, I wore kitten heels, I wore stacked heels, I wore wedge boots. I'm flat to tall the same day. It was not an issue for me. Diana could tell you I had an amazing shoe collection. That's fine. Broken toes too many times, can't do it anymore. It's a whole thing. So for me, a sock heel is just a sock heel. They all work. I don't have a preference. I like the mock short row garter because I have the least number of holes to sew up when I'm done knitting the sock, which has nothing to do with the heel and everything to do with the fact I can't see that there's a hole till I'm done.
Makes sense.
There we go. So I'm going to do the even heel socks. They're cuffed down. And I initially let everybody vote on what sock yarn to use. And the overwhelming vote was for Empress, even though Sherry voted twice. And Sherry voted for this color on Patreon, which is an Aran skein of yarn. I don't know what colorway it is. The ball band's been gone for ages, guys. It's one of the bird colorways from last year.
It's that one. I have it too. It's right
there.
there.
I know, but what color name? Wait, what name of bird is this?
I don't know. I'll find out.
What bird?
I have the ball band still attached. There's coffee in that nebula.
Oh, it's Star Trek then.
Yes. That one's a Star Trek.
Star Trek one. I've always told Erin she doesn't have to bring ball bands for me, so it's a thing. So I'm gonna make these instead of the Empress ones because we're ready for my justification. I have more in my stash that would match the Empress colorway for like a fingering weight faded cardigan than I do necessarily with one with this much yellow in it.
Mm.
So I'm going to make these into the even heel socks by Nikki Knits for her year-long cal, simply due to color preferentials in my stash collection. Yellows and oranges tend to be one-offs on me. I love them, but they have to be certain shades to work well against my skin. Where as a pair of socks,
Yeah.
it's not going to matter if the yellow sits next to my ankle and kind of washes my ankle out.
I think your ankle will survive being washed out.
My ankle will survive. So I'm going to wind up this bad boy. So in the end, Sherry wins. Anyway, even though she cheated on voting. Which is the other thing I was going to wind up last night, but super did not get around to it. And then I discovered the needle problem this morning. I went, well, for the love of Pete, for the
So
love
there's
of
a
Pete.
there's a few problems to solve before the socks get started.
Some problems. I think I'm going to do the Zelda socks first and do them on this one. And if I manage to find my other sock needle before I leave, I will cast on the even heel. If not, I will take the yarn with me and cast them on when I'm done my stripy socks.
That makes sense.
I think that's what I'm going to do. It's going to make the most sense anyway. I wouldn't put my foot on your head if your head wasn't where my feet wanted to be. So that's what I have. Technically, 2 real things and 2 theoretical things, but they're theoretical only insofar as that I couldn't cast them on in a mad abandon this morning. Because I ripped apart the office and put it back together looking for a sock needle that'll show up as soon as I stop looking for it.
Exactly. Well, it knows you're looking for it now, so it can work its way to the surface of wherever it is. Because that's obviously how that works. It's like the Sesame Street clip of Bert and Ernie where they're fishing. Here, fishy, 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 fishy. And then fish just bloop. So I just, here, needle, 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 needle.
Yeah, it's not going to work that way. I know it's not going to work that way, but boy, am I tempted to try.
It might.
If it does, I'll let you know. If it doesn't, I might rant at you in Discord on the mod thread. You said.
I said it might work, or I hope it works, or I don't know. I didn't say it would work. But wouldn't it be great if it did?
Oh my god, it'd be so good if it did. All right. On the bright side, it means we're done really working.
And that means it's time for wool gathering and my word of the week to work seamlessly into the Patreon ad.
Yep.
She said with trepidation.
Water bottle.
Water bottle? Okay, first of all, that's 2 words. Water bottle.
I'm going from the one list from the one person who has given me words. If people don't like these words, I have to have alternative words to use. Having said that, I'm going to leave that now.
Because I'm vamping for time. If people want to submit words to your word list, how would they best go about doing that?
Oh, anyway, they can Instagram message me. Well, I mean, Northern Knits Podcast, I'll get them. They can Patreon message me. They could find me on Twitter on my personal account of AmberDragon1 and send me a DM that way too. Anyway, so you can email it to us, northernknitspodcast@gmail.com.
And in case you're worried that I will see the secret word list before it is given to me, I won't. I check none of these things unless Jocelyn tells me to.
It's true, she doesn't.
So it's secret. It'll be secret. Don't worry.
And even then, she only checks exactly what I've sent her for.
Yeah.
How do I know? Because there's emails sitting in the Northern Knits box that have nothing to do with me and everything to do with the swag store that I don't think you've looked at.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I should look at those.
Yep, probably. Well, I definitely don't have your name, and I definitely don't have a Shopify store, so...
Fair. I should look at those. Okay. Patreon is a thing.
It is.
That you can do. If you want to financially support these shenanigans, you can do so. at patreon.com/northernknitspodcast. Any level of support gets you access to our patron-only Discord, where we are active at all hours of the day and the night, enabling each other into casting on all of the things, and occasionally finishing things and celebrating the finishes, and more enabling of casting on all of the things even when you should be finishing.
Oh, we enabled for all things: casting on television shows, what to make for dinner.
Lots of enablement going on.
One would almost say it's a cornucopia of suggestions.
In fact,
not the only one who can do it.
Jubilee of enablement.
I love that one.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. Patreon members also get early access to bonus content. There's weekly-ish experimental Tuesday blog posts where we cook usually something experimental, and then there's a blog post about it.
I explained why I wasn't doing them right now.
Yeah, they're weekly-ish, and yeah, I'm late sometimes, and sometimes it's me going, oh my god, I'm late. I was gonna pour a drink, so I'm making a cocktail now. Sometimes it's that. I was trying to figure out how to work in water bottle. I'm coming to the end of the ad and I haven't figured it out yet. I was hoping it would present itself. What else?
Do you need rescue? At
the higher tiers of support, there's also monthly e-knit-ins, which we just hang out on a Zoom call and chat for, I think we went for 5 hours yesterday.
5 hours yesterday.
It was a marathon.
Yes, it was. I was so hungry. I was so hungry when we got off.
Man, I had to pee so bad. I tried to stay present, but like after a while, it's like I finished my tea 2 hours ago and I gotta go. Actually, I only left yesterday because the power went out and didn't come back on for 2 hours. I'm like, well, guess I'm done with that.
Yep.
Power says no.
We have quarterly movie nights.
Yes, we have quarterly movie nights. Next one of those is going to be in August on the, what day did I write down? The 27th?
I believe so, yes.
August the 27th. Oh, and the next e-knit-in is going to be on June the 18th. And these events always happen at noon Manitoba time because that is a good central time. So, you know, when you're getting ready for your movie, don't forget your water bottle.
Good. Not the way I would have gone, but good. Good.
I'm like, crap, I'm at the end. Water, snacks, hydrate. Hydration is important. Don't forget your water bottle.
Don't forget your water bottles. Oh, God. As always, we super understand that financial this is a thing that is real and exists in the world. And if your budgets do not allow for you to financially support us, liking, commenting, and subscribing always helps us out. You are, as always, welcome to reach out and show us what you're working on different social media platforms, since YouTube doesn't always necessarily be the best format for sharing these things in the comment section. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can find us on Instagram and as a Facebook group, both under the banner Northern Knits Podcast, because we believe in branding.
Always Northern Knits Podcast.
Always Northern Knits Podcasts. We only have one knit along running at the moment. Thankfully, Diana so kindly put the rules and regulations and inspiration links for that knit along in the show notes, which you can find at northernknitspodcast.com. So hopefully you guys are working on your Ostara Cal or your Spring Equinox Cal, which will wrap up the 20th of June when we get ready to cast on for the Summer Solstice Cal. Don't worry, the expert Google Foo Master, known as Sherry, is working on more inspirational links for you guys, because my God, that woman's got a mad skill set.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I thought I was good at Google, but don't hold a candle to Sherry.
She's amazing at it. It's so good. So good. I love it. So I also appreciate someone's willing to hunt down inspiration links, because I always need more enabling into different things.
Always.
I have no idea what I'm going to cast on for that one. Not at all.
Yeah, I don't either. because I'm like, sweaters, but like I really don't need a sweat. Maybe I'll do like some kind of crochet top. I've been thinking about a crochet top for a while. That seems like a good summery thing.
That is a summary thing. So we'll figure something out. We'll go from there. All entries for the Austerical have got to be on Instagram or the Facebook group, and you have to use the hashtag spelled out in the show notes because that is how I'm going to find you. That's how that's going to work. Prizes, I don't know.
We should figure those out sometime.
I don't know. I gotta figure
when you get
plans out
back.
for
We'll
that.
figure it out when you get back.
I have no spare brain cells to rub together till like the first weekend, end of the first week of June. I'll figure it out then. So,
Yep.
having said that, and that's all done, I don't think we have anything else at Wool Gathering, do we?
Next week.
Ooh, lives.
Next Sunday. You're out of town.
I am.
So we'll be doing a live episode because you won't be home to edit.
I
and I don't have
won't.
a convenient day off to edit with. So we will be doing a live episode next Sunday evening.
Yes.
Exact time to be determined, but we will be live next Sunday evening, and there will be no regular episode on Wednesday.
What's going to happen is I'm going to get in the car Sunday morning in Edmonton, and I'm going to message Diana and go, we have left the hotel. It is now roughly this many hours till we get home. Pop up a notification for a live for this many hours. Because I'm going to want to get to Saskatoon at my parents' house, and I'm going to want to eat and then get on.
Yeah.
But I won't know for sure how that schedule is going to work out till I know my leave time. So we're going to have to play it by ear right up till the Sunday.
After dinner Saskatchewan time.
Yeah, after dinner Saskatchewan time.
So that's happening, and then our regularly scheduled monthly live episode will be occurring the following Sunday, the first Sunday in June.
Yeah.
And that one's going to be an hour earlier because life scheduling.
Because life happens, and we just need to do
it. Will not be at our usual noon Manitoba time. It will be at conveniently noon Eastern time, which is confusing as heck to say. It'll be an hour earlier at 11 a.m. Manitoba time.
11 a.m. Manitoba time. So thanks, because it's weird, guys. It's going to be weird up in here for the next few weeks.
Yep. So I will throw up some YouTube notifications when I know the time for next week, and then also for the week after that.
Well, you guys can come see me live at the Edmonton Fibre Frolic if you're going to be out and about.
Yeah.
I will be at Fireweed Fibre Co's booth and would love to say hello in person.
It's wild. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
There's
going to be people. I'm not going. I'm excited on your behalf.
That's fair.
And for the pictures and stories.
Also super fair.
I'm vicariously excited.
You're gonna live vicariously through me?
Yes.
Okay. Works for me.
And then you are live with Louise for your monthly check-in on the 2nd of June, Thursday the 2nd of June at 6:30 Manitoba time.
6:30 Manitoba time. Yeah, I get home on Wednesday.
Check-ins on Thursday.
I get home Wednesday, check-in Thursday. I have to adult all day Thursday, and then our live is on Sunday.
So you'll have just enough time to sleep and get groceries.
Yes. Because my cat.
Perfect. That's enough time. That's all the time you need.
Absolutely ground me when I come home.
Oh yeah, you're so grounded by your cat. Absolutely. She will sit in your way, glaring at you, just to let you know how wrong you've been.
Well, when she's done giving me the cut direct, because I abandoned her. And she could have starved, Guys, no, my brother-in-law spoils her to death. She's not going to starve.
She'll be fine.
She will spend the rest of the time attached to me like a small toddler.
Yep. Just wake up with cat on your head.
She sleeps wrapped around my ankle. So she lays down and wraps her paws around my ankle.
And don't you dare move.
Pretty much.
That's so cute, though.
It is adorable. Also annoying when you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and you get in trouble for leaving bed. You gotta pee.
How dare you?
How dare my bladder wake me up? So rude. So that's okay.
I think that brings us to Kniterature then.
It does. Time
There's
to
been
talk
books.
about books.
Books. You want to talk about your books? Because you're on a whole series and it sounds great.
So most people remember literally like 2 weeks ago when I started reading A Ruin of Kings. It is the first in the Chaotic Dragon series. Chaos Dragons? Chaotic Dragon? It's by Jennifer
Oh, I don't
Lynn,
know. Let's see if
guys.
it's still up.
It's by Jennifer Lynn's.
Chorus of Dragons.
Chorus of Dragons, started with a C.
Chorus of Dragons.
Chorus of Dragons. So I read that one and I really liked how it was narrated. And there's more in the series. I'm like, okay, let's see if the narration continues. It does. It does. The same format has gone through the books. So did that one.
That's not how this row's supposed to go. I just did a whole row wrong on my sock and I'm sad. It's the danger of podcasting and knitting with a basic repeat. Okay,
It's
carry
true.
on.
It's true. So last week I had almost finished the second book, or no, I was making my way through the second book, walked into that one, which was
I'll shut up now.
the name of the Stone
All
of
things.
Always.
The name of all things.
The name of all things. Finished that one, and I'm almost done The Memory of Souls, which is the third book in the series. They don't have the fourth book in Libby in an audio format, so I've already purchased it through Audible so that I can start it as soon as I'm done book 3. And there's 5 books in the series, so I'm gonna just buy book 5 if Libby doesn't have book 5 available for me. I'd go from there because if I leave the series, I'm never going back to it. That's just how I function. That's just my reading style. But since I don't have to stop, I'm not going to stop. There's the Iron Druid series. I enjoyed it. I still haven't gone back to it. And I was working on finishing that series. So it happens to me fairly often with series. So I'm hoping to get to the end of book 5, and I'm hoping that's the end of the story. Because these are 540, 606 page books. Like, they are big.
These are not small books.
They are tomes. They are tomes. The one I'm currently finishing up is over 600 pages. So doing that still has the same storytelling style as it did in the first book. So it's one overarching narrator who's writing them up like they're research memoir notes for someone else to read. And then all of the little snippets of information he's gathered is being read in the character's voice in first person. So you're switching from perspective views all the time. And with the narrated audio version, it's different voices.
Nice. So it's kind of like Dracula in that aspect?
Yes, it's kind of like Dracula
Okay.
in that aspect. So it's been super enjoyable and complicated and big and epic and science, possibly fiction, definitely fantasy. There's magic, there's hints of maybe technology that nobody's aware of anymore, there's dragons, there's body swapping, there's death, there's political intrigue, there's saving the universe, there's gods that walk among people. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And it's literally explained in snippets from first person's perspectives.
That's
So
almost
good.
infuriating. Honestly,
it's so compelling because it'll stop a snippet and you'll actually have one of the characters who's talking to the guy who's narrating all the notes at this point going, "Are you kidding me? You stopping there?" And he goes, "Yes, I did," and tells a different chunk of story.
that's amazing.
It's so cute. I want a break. What? It'll jump to somewhere and they're sitting and chatting and you're like, "How did you get here?" And then the story backtracks. So like Quentin Tarantino's you a lot. I'm just, even though there's a lot of tropes in the book, because there's a lot of fantasy tropes in the book, because they're presented in a slightly different manner, they're very intriguing and they're very fun. And you've got some gender fluidity to some characters. You've got just this sort of acceptance in some cultures of varying sexual orientations where you don't in other cultures, and it's terribly interesting because it just plays with a lot of tropes of how human societies function as groups and the variations that you find within them themselves.
Sounds okay. I'm into this. I
Yes.
have marked the first book as want to read. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go a step farther, and I'm just gonna
Put it
go
on your
find
Libby
this
hold.
on Libby right now. I'm gonna put it on hold.
That's fair. I suggest the
Go a step
audiobook
farther.
because it's really nice to just have the voices talking in your head telling their story. Because you'll get one talking to the other one going, "Oh, Ducky, you know that's not how that happened," and you have the other one go, "Listen, I don't want to talk about it."
Oh, I don't even have to wait. I could have it like right now.
Oh, have it right now.
Oh, I can't right now. I can't right now. I'm reading like 3 books right now.
Finish a book.
Oh, that's a lie. I'm reading 2 books right now.
Finish another book.
Gotta finish some books. I have to finish some things before they, I have to finish some things. Then I will take it out.
Okay. It's just small? No.
Small.
A solid
No small.
a solid 3-4 read on Goodreads? Yes. It's a solid 3-4 read.
Nice.
Yeah, so very good. Just don't think about that page count because it's intense.
Yeah. I looked at the audiobook and it's like 27 hours. Like, oh, it's a bit.
But if you go for walks and you sit in the afternoons and
Yeah.
when you're
I also generally listen at like 1.75 speed. So
yeah. I won't take you terribly long.
That's high on the list.
Yeah, no, it's just I'm very much enjoying the series. Mostly because I enjoy that sort of chaotic action, adventure, fantasy, potentially science fiction, magic going awry. It's right up my alley with interesting characters. I likes it. I likes
Nice.
it. Yeah. And people sitting in other people's culture going, no, wait, that doesn't mean what I think it means, does it? And having someone look at you like you're absolutely lost your mind. It's the same sort of cultural divide you get between people here on the planet with slang,
Nice.
with slang terminology, which makes no sense outside of your own home country and or province.
The world building in this sounds fantastic.
Yeah. It's like bagged milk in Eastern Canada. Doesn't make any sense to me. But I grew up on the bagged milk note. I think we can call it for the episode.
I haven't talked about books yet.
Well,
we ran off down the bagged milk road.
But we talked about bagged milk. Where else is there to go from it? No, I'm joking.
I don't really know, to be honest.
Talk about your books, silly. Stop
All right, it's not
me
as
from
exciting
continuing.
It's not as exciting as bagged milk. Kicking and dragging this conversation, kicking, screaming back to its books. I've still been reading Gaslight Mystery Series. I'm almost done A Murder on Astor Place, and weirdly, I still don't know who the murderer is because I read books 2 and 3, and I knew about like halfway, 60% through for sure this person did it. I just don't quite know the details yet. I don't know who did it.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, the first book in the series, I don't know who did it. So that's interesting. There's obviously some people you're supposed to think did it, which makes me think they obviously didn't do it. But I still have no idea who actually did do it. So that's been fun. Gaslight Mystery Series by Victoria
Thompson.
Thank you. Super fun summer read. Fun, lighthearted, not very long. I'm just reading slowly.
They're cute little books. They're such cute little books.
They're period mystery thrillers set in like 1880s New York.
Or 1890s,
early 1900s.
Somewhere in there.
Circa 1900 New York.
Let's do the historical thing. Late 19th, early 20th century.
Yeah. Early 19th century, not late 19th century like us millennials. Us elder millennials.
Yeah, we were born in the 20th century.
Yes. I said the wrong number, didn't I?
Yeah, you said 19th.
I did.
I'm not 20th that
century.
old.
Yep.
I was 140. I better be winning money.
I said the wrong number. I knew what I meant, but I said the wrong thing.
That's fine. That's fine.
Anyway, The other thing that I've been reading is I went, oh, hey, my book club's coming up. I should probably read that book. So
Yep.
I've been putting more of an effort into A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie.
Sure.
I still don't really know what's going on. It's a fantasy book, and it doesn't do the exposition thing. Like some fantasy books, they just have like 5 chapters of exposition to explain the world before they get to the story.
Yes.
This one's not doing this. It just drops you in. Somebody's having a seizure and maybe seeing the future. And that's page 1.
Yep.
And it just goes from there. So we've had 3 point of view characters so far. So there's a girl that can probably see the future in riddles, of course, because you never can have it straight out.
Nope.
There's some nobleman's son that's got more testosterone than sense.
That's fairly normal.
And then I think he's a prince, and he's just drunk all the time and kind of useless, and hates himself for it, but not enough to actually change. So we have 3 very interesting point of view characters, and I'm not very far in, and I still don't know what the overarching story is. I think it involves war. There's a war happening.
Cool.
To what end, I don't know.
How long do you have to finish this book?
I believe I have till sometime next month. Dates got shuffled around, so it's sort of TBD, but it's going to be next month and in person sometime.
Cool. Good luck. I
get to see book club's faces, which is going to be fun.
Put more work into that one.
Yeah, especially because I apparently need to start reading the Chaos Dragons. What are Chaos of Dragons? Chorus Dragons. Chorus of Dragons.
A Chorus of Dragons.
Yes, since I need to start reading that series.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if your book club can influence my reading, I can influence your reading.
Absolutely. So got to do that one first. But then I can do Chorus of Dragons.
Ma'am.
Me or the cat. Use that same tone on both of us.
I do. Get off my foot.
Okay, not me then.
I can't feel my toes. Get off.
Nope. They're not your toes anymore.
Apparently not. I swear, people. All right, on the bright side.
Yeah, we've talked about everything now.
Everything, including bagged milk.
From books to bagged milk. So
I can say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
No matter where your week takes you, don't forget to knit.
Don't forget to knit.